So I'm running a microphone. So what I think the best thing about the Ion R Pro 3 is the 3.5 millimeter jack. 3.5 millimeter microphones are easy to find. And look at this. So on this table here, I have a couple 3.5 millimeter microphones. They're so cheap and they're easy to find. Here's a Sony one. I had this one installed before. I'm trying a different one this time. It's okay. The Sony one is okay. It's just it takes a lot of space in the helmet. This is actually this one here. This one here is a 2.5 millimeter. This is the old Drift HD microphone. I actually ditched this one. I don't use it anymore. I didn't use it on the Ion R Pro 2 anymore, and because the reason was the gain levels were low. It was really quiet, the videos. So if you look at a lot of my early videos, if you watched a lot of my earlier videos, you'll notice that the audio is really low when I talk, it doesn't. It seems like it's kind of muted. And then later on, I used some cheap like $3 microphone, and it sounded much better. So go figure, right? This is like a $20 microphone.
All right, I put my dirt gloves and my goggles on. Starting to get a little heated here, and the sun's coming up too. Turn. Make the turn. Oh shit! Looking the 50 down to 30, oh. And I was sitting down.
But yeah, that's the beauty of the Ion R Pro 3 is this is the other 2.5 millimeter. Oh, maybe this is the Drift HD. Never mind. That's the Drift HD. That's the other one was the cheap one. So that's the beauty of the Ion R Pro 3. You can find microphones like really easy. They're really easy to find. So this one is just some cheap one I found on eBay. I haven't actually tested it out. I have to go test it out. But yeah, it's in the helmet somewhere. It's like, I think it's behind the cheek pad here. Yeah, it's behind the cheek padding. And it's just like, it goes up into the helmet under the liner, and it goes there. Yeah, and it fits with the cover on. Let me show you what it looks like with the cover on. So right now there's no cover. Okay, there it is. So it's got the cover on there. It's a little loose because I think the Sony camera has like less, it has a thicker connector. But there it is, fits in there pretty good. So like I said, this is this is my replacement cap for the Ion R Pro 2. It fits on the 3. It does not come with this. You have to order it separately. So luckily I had one on hand, so this is what I use. The reason I like to have a cover like this is, well, obviously, yeah, it's to keep dust and water out of the back of the camera. It's not waterproof anymore. So, yeah, it won't be waterproof anymore, but it'll be water resistant with this cap on there. So, it should be less of a problem with the water. So, there it is. Yeah, so the microphone, I'm pretty happy with the microphone. It tends to take out all the bass, like yeah, it takes all the bass out of the audio though. It kind of mutes the bass a little bit, but the level is good. It's not too quiet. It's actually sometimes it's too loud, so it's fine. And like I said, oh yeah, I have videos of it without using the microphone. I highly suggest you buy a microphone if you're going to be using Ion R Pro 3. It's very lots and lots of wind noise. Plus, if you're like doing some motovlogging, it helps. This Ion R Pro 3 is horrible. is horrible with the wind. And I have videos to show you. I was doing some testing on the microphones to see the differences, and it's horrible. Worse than the INR Pro 2. And there's some noise reduction settings. They don't work. They don't work at all. So I'm gonna tell you now the differences between the INR Pro 2 and 3 is it's like a totally different camera. They're almost, yeah, it's like a totally different camera. The differences are, what I've noticed is that the 3, it returns on and records way faster. When you go from standby to record, it'll just like go bzz, and then it'll start recording. This one kind of has like a lag. You'll feel it vibrate, and then it will start recording like maybe a few seconds later, like a second or two. This one is just like, it's like instantaneous almost. So this turns on, the INR Pro 3 turns on very fast. Yeah, there's less color in it. So the INR Pro 2 had this problem with the color changing. So the bottom is blue, still blue, but the top is not. So I guess if you leave it in the sun, it fades, and the paint chips on the front. This doesn't have that problem because it's black in the front. Hopefully it won't start chipping. But so far I have 2 of them, and they look fine. So I've only been really using it for a couple months though, so we'll see if it changes color later. Also, another difference is the file formats. INR Pro 2 uses MP4, which I prefer. I'd rather have MP4, and the INR Pro 3 uses a MOV file. So I don't know, maybe Apple bribed Ion or something to use MOV files, but it's okay. It still works properly on my computer if you have the proper codecs and everything. Also, the difference between the 3 and the 2 is the image quality is much better. Well, not much better, but it's closer to that of the GoPro. I'll admit the GoPro and the GoPro clones, the SJ Cam, have better picture quality, but the INR Pro 3 is just as good as the GoPro quality. I'll give it that. But it still looks like dookie when I encode it and I upload it to YouTube. YouTube does something with the Ion Air Pro 3 videos that it doesn't look clear.
The Mazda Turnpike, Toyo Turnpike. I know there's a toll booth here. Oh God. Okay, here we goes. I'll just put it on standard mode for this. Hey, look at this. It's Z and old skylines and all that good stuff. Nice.
Also, what's the other differences? Oh, the night shooting ability. Night shooting ability is much improved in the Ion Air Pro 3. In the Ion Air Pro 2, you get like artifacts and stuff in there, and it's just dark. You can't make anything out. This can shoot at night, and you will get none of those artifacts. And like it gets noisy when it gets dark, but you can still make things out. And if you have good lights, like on your bike, motorcycle, or whatever, you can actually make things out at night. So you can actually shoot video at night. I mean, it's not gonna be it's not optimal, you know. I wouldn't shoot video at night because you can't see anything. Like you really only see slightly less than what you can see in real life, you know.
See anything. Whoa, damn, you see that guardrail? All broken up. There's like a big dent in it. I think I know why. Somebody just went straight into that sucker. Oh shit, look at this. This doesn't even look like a road anymore, man. This is a very popular road. Oh my God. Oh man, I'm fogging big time. This sucks. Anyway, yeah, so HadesOmega here. So I just passed by a rental place called Fun to Drive. I saw a brochure about it, and there, sure enough, there it was. And it had literally almost every generation Skyline, Nissan Skyline GTR. I don't know if they were GTRs or not, but they look.
The viewing angle seems to be about the same. I think it was about 180 for the Ion Air Pro 2, and yeah. So I think the viewing angles are similar. Like, honestly, if I was to go do it again, I would buy the 3. The 3 is not as cheap as the 2, but like I said, it's a totally different camera. It still has the auto rotation feature. I will not go over that, but I turn it off. Okay, I don't use the auto rotation because many times, like, hey, if you get the camera like if you just happen to have it at an angle and you turn it on, the auto rotation, it screws you up. It makes it like a vertical video, and so I turned that off. I don't like that feature. There's a bunch of other little features. I am gonna post a separate video on how to update the firmware and like what the different settings are on this camera. It's pretty much the same, except this can do more stuff. It can do more 1080p and 60, whereas this one couldn't. Actually, you can do 720p in 120 also. So, but I still shoot in I shoot mainly in 1080p, 30 frames per second. It's just because it still looks good and it's economical, you know. But yeah, so there it is. Ion Air Pro 3. I'll post some little videos, some different videos of me riding. I think it's a worthy upgrade to the 2. I wish it was using the MP4 format. Other than that, I like it. It's been really good. And I like that it uses a 3.5mm microphone now. They're much easier to find. They don't even sell microphones. Ion Air Pro. I mean Ion. Yeah, Ion doesn't sell microphones or something, or maybe they do. I don't know, but they probably charge you a lot. That's another thing I don't like about the Ion stuff. Their accessories are expensive. Like if you bought some of these mounts, they're like $20 or something. So if you wanted to have like mounts for everything, oh, speaking of mounts, I also bought the Ion headband thing. It is Ion brand. I'm pretty sure it's an Ion brand. Doesn't say anywhere though. Oh, it says it right here. See, so it's an Ion branded headband. It's like and it's a nice headband. It's thick. It's got some sticky stuff on it, and so I even using it as kind of like a mechanic camera when I work on my bike and stuff. And it works okay. You just have to remember, like, hey, you need to face it. You have to like orient it properly. Oh yeah, and also the Wi-Fi pod still works. You can still use it. I'm not going to show you how to use it, but basically you can pair it with your phone through Wi-Fi, which I don't like. I would rather work with Bluetooth, because Bluetooth seems to be much more. It's faster and it seems more reliable than Wi-Fi. And you can start the camera. You can look at the camera. You can do a real-time picture with the camera. So you can make sure everything is adjusted properly. Right now I pretty much got it at like a sweet spot, like I don't touch it. But yeah, so the cool thing about this is reversible. You can wear it on the left side of your head or on the right side of your head. Cause see, like there's different keys here for it. I can show you what it looks like real quick. I'll put the 2 on there. So there you go. I got the old Ion Air Pro 2 hooked up to it. Yeah, it doesn't work with the cam lock stuff. You just have to hook it up. You gotta take that mount off and then just screw it on here. But there it is. You just have to make sure you know, it's pointed somewhere properly. Actually, I prefer body cam. The chest harness. I have a chest harness for my GoPro copy, and I kind of like it better because it's more. It's easier to aim. is why. This one you have to kind of see what you have to be careful where you aim it. But the good thing is when you turn your head, it turns with you. So that's one thing it has over the body camera. Yeah. So I wish they made a chest harness for this, but I guess it wouldn't work with this format because it's like this is a stick type camera, whereas the GoPro is like one of those box cameras, and that's probably what the GoPro is good for. Oh yeah, so yeah. Also another thing, why I like the Ion Air Pro 3 better than the GoPro is that the GoPro is fucking ugly as shit. It looks like Dookie on your helmet, and yeah, it's looks like there's a big ass box on your helmet, and it doesn't look good. It's not aerodynamic looking, you know. I like this. It's simple. Flip it up, and it starts recording. Flip it off, stops recording. It's a piece of cake. You can't see this light. I can actually, on the corner of my eye, I can see this light at night. So there'll be like a blue ring here. I mentioned it earlier, and when it starts blinking faster, it means it's almost out of juice. Oh, the charging. So the charging is done through the USB, micro USB port, and I actually kind of like the Ion Air Pro 2 charging better. When the Ion Air Pro 2 is charging, it's just a red light, and it stays on until it's done charging, and then it turns off by itself. This one, it's a red light and it blinks. It just blinks, and then when it's done charging, it turns off. So I don't know. I kind of like this thought. I'd rather have a solid blinking light that way. So I just don't like the blinking light. I don't know why. I just don't. But it's okay. And a number of times I don't know. It kind of like it shuts off charging automatically or something. I've caught it sometimes like, hey, that's weird. I thought I charged this, and it's only been running for 20 minutes. It says it's out of juice. So I wish there was a better battery indicator on it. Yeah, but the little blinking light, if you just memorize it, what it means, it's okay. It's brighter than the Ion Air Pro 2, is what I liked. Actually, this doesn't even have a light. There's a way you can tell. No, yeah, there is no way to tell. I think this light, it starts blinking. Yeah, I think on the Ion Air Pro 2, this light starts blinking. This has a separate light. Yeah, there's a separate light on the button. So that's another difference between the 3 and the 2. It has a lighted on-off button, and that's your battery indicator. So that is easier. I notice it's much easier, and it's less complicated to figure out what's going on. So really, like I said, you can only see this at night. In the daytime, you're not going to be able to see it while you're riding, anyways, if that's what you're using it for. Yeah, so you'll see it blinking, or it'll be like a solid blue light. It's pretty noticeable at night. In the daytime, you won't be able to see it, so you'll have to take your helmet off and look at it. But yeah, that's the one thing I do like about the Ion Air Pro 3. So there you go. It costs a lot more. I think I must have paid about $100 for this. I think they're getting cheaper. The Ion Air Pro 2s are getting super cheap. I heard they were like, you can get them for like $50 now or something. These used to be $300 or something. I don't think I paid that much. I think I got it on the eBay auction or Amazon for like around $100, maybe $100 to $150. So, and I bought 2 of them. Oh, this is another thing about the Ion camera is they don't have you can't take the battery packs out of them. So that's why I buy 2 of them. So when I'm riding, I know it doubles the cost. When I'm riding, and one of them runs out of juice, all I have to do is I take it out of the pouch. I have it in this pouch in my jacket, and then I just swap it. And I plug the microphone in, and then while I'm riding, I'm charging the second one on the bike with the USB charger, and in one of the panniers, and yeah, and that works really good. That means you can pretty much infinitely run the camera. You run it all day, provided your memory card. So right now I'm using 32 gigabyte cards, some Samsung Evo, and I'm using a Samsung Ultra Disc on the other one, I think, and they work good. It'll pretty much take a whole day of recording. The battery life is 2 hours on these. If it's on like standby or recording, it's about 2 hours. So after 2 hours, I just switch it. Then I charge it again, and by the time if I have more than 2 hours of footage, then I just swap this one in again. So that's how HadesOmega does it. That's why I have the 2 Ion cameras. It sucks that you can't change the battery, but it's okay because I mean you get 2 memory cards too. So it's like you're doubling the memory card space. So that's why I only run 32s. 32 gigabytes should be, well, at least for 1080p at 30, should be good enough for like a whole day of recording almost. And then now that's times 2, so I got like 64 gigabytes between both of them. So there you go. So that's the Ion Air Pro 3. I'm impressed with it. It is more costly than the Ion Air Pro 2, at least currently it is. And it's like a totally different camera. It's got better quality. It's got that battery indicator. I like that. The mounts are different than the Ion Air Pro 2. It has more recording modes, and I think it uses 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and which is much easier to find than a 2.5 millimeter. And I think the biggest improvement is over the 2 is that it shoots better at night. You can actually do some night videography with it, so that's good. I like it a lot. So definitely the Ion Air Pro 2 is like a step up. I highly recommend it over the 2. The 2 is okay, but like the Air Pro 3 it's a step up, and looking forward to see what other what other cameras Ion will have in the future. But right now the 3 is really good.